What if your darkest impulses held the key to your greatest strength? What if the secrets to mastering your reality have been hidden in plain sight for thousands of years? The esoteric principles guiding reality's creation are explored through the lens of Thoth's ancient teachings. A profound understanding of how intentions are woven into existence is offered to those seeking to consciously shape their future. What if the most powerful deity in ancient Egypt had a secret family deliberately erased from history? You know Ra, the sun god, but you've never heard of his sole wife and their hidden daughter. Until now. Prepare to uncover a family saga more dramatic and impactful than anything etched in hieroglyphs. This is not just a story of a god. It is the story of a throne, of a legacy, and of a terrible and cosmic choice. It is the story of Ra and his heir. It is the story of Horus and the kingship of light. You have been told that this was a simple succession, a divine and orderly transfer of power. The old king, Ra, growing weary, hands the throne of the heavens to his rightful heir, the noble and victorious Horus. It is a clean story, a safe story, a story of patriarchal lineage, of a family business passed from father to son. But like every story you have been told by the system, it is a lie. It is a carefully constructed piece of propaganda, designed to hide a truth so volatile, so revolutionary, that it would shatter the very foundations of the solar cult. The truth is this: Horus was never the chosen heir of Ra. He was his greatest and most profound threat. He was not the continuation of the dynasty. He was its potential end. And the war between them was not a family squabble. It was a silent and cosmic battle for the very definition of the word God. Ra was a king who ruled by the light of domination. Horus was the prince who had discovered a new kind of light, the light of integration. And the kingship he was destined for was not a throne to be inherited, but a world to be liberated. This is the secret that has been encoded and inverted in the myths. The system, the Ra program, could not erase the powerful and beloved figure of Horus. So it did the next best thing. It co-opted him. It absorbed him. It took the symbol of its own greatest opposition and it turned him into a mascot. It told you a story of a good and loyal son, inheriting the family business so you would never discover the truth that Horus was the revolutionary who had come to burn that business to the ground. This is not just a story about two gods. It is a story about two completely different and mutually exclusive paths to power. And you, in your own life, are being groomed to be the heir of Ra. You are being taught to inherit the ideals of a wounded king. But the path of the initiate, the path of the heretic, the path of the soul is to reject that poisoned crown and to claim the true and glorious inheritance of Horus, the kingship of your own sovereign and fully integrated self. This is the choice between inheriting a profession and embodying an ideal. And the fate of your world and of your own soul depends entirely on which path you choose to walk. The entire architecture of the Ra program, the solar cult that has become the blueprint for our modern world, is built on the principle of linear, patriarchal succession. Power is not created, it is transferred. Truth is not discovered, it is dictated from above. The king sits on the throne, and his word is law. His son, his chosen heir, is not trained to be a sovereign being. He is trained to be a perfect copy of the king. He is groomed to take on the family business, to maintain its traditions, to enforce its rules, and to ensure that the dynasty, the program, continues unbroken and unquestioned. This is the machine of conformity. And to ensure its own survival, it needed a perfect symbol for its perfect heir. It needed a version of Horus that would serve its agenda. And so, it created one. This is the first of the two Horus archetypes, the one the system has shown you, the one that has been carved onto the temple walls and written into the state-sponsored myths. This is Ra-Horakhty. Ra, who is Horus of the two horizons. This is not a being. It is a corporate logo. It is a brand merger. It is the brilliant and utterly diabolical act of taking the most powerful symbol of rebellion and turning it into a symbol of the establishment. Ra-Horakhty is Horus, the franchise. He is depicted as a powerful, aggressive, and often warlike falcon god, crowned not with his own unique insignia, but with the blazing solar disk of his father, Ra. His identity is not his own. It is borrowed from the source of his power. He is a prince, not a king. He is the divine enforcer, the celestial CEO, the strong right arm of a distant and tyrannical chairman of the board. His story is a simple one, a story designed for the masses. He is the good son. He is the loyal heir. He fights the battles of his father. He vanquishes the enemies of the state, who are always, conveniently, the enemies of Ra. And he will, one day, take his rightful place on the throne, not to change the kingdom, but to ensure its perfect and eternal continuation. He is the ultimate company man. He is the living embodiment of the profession. This is the Horus that the pharaohs sought to become. When a pharaoh took the throne, he was not just a king. He was the living incarnation of Horus, but specifically this Horus. The Horus who was the legitimate and obedient son of the sun god. His entire life was a ritual, a performance, designed to prove his loyalty to the Ra program. He was not a sovereign being. He was the chief executive of the earthly branch of a cosmic corporation. And this is the Horus that the system you live in is still, silently and relentlessly trying to make you become. Think of the path it has laid out for you. Go to school, learn the rules, get the job, climb the ladder. Be a good and productive citizen. Inherit the values of your society. Do not question. Do not rebel. Take your place in the machine. And one day, you too will be rewarded with your own small sun disk. A promotion, a mortgage, a retirement plan. You too can become a small and successful Ra-Horakhty, a loyal and obedient heir to a kingdom you did not build, and a profession that is slowly and quietly draining the life from your own unique and glorious soul. But there is another Horus, an older, more secret, and infinitely more powerful one. This is the Horus that the Ra program tried and failed to erase from history. This is not the heir to a profession. This is the embodiment of an ideal. This is Horus, the son of Isis. This Horus is not the son of Ra. He is the son of the great Syrian goddess of magic, Isis, and of her beloved husband, the dismembered and resurrected god, Osiris. This is not a story of inheritance. It is a story of alchemy. This Horus is not born into a palace, into a position of power. He is conceived in an act of pure, divine magic, in the darkness of the underworld, in the womb of a goddess who has refused to accept the finality of death. He is born in the secret and muddy swamps of the Delta, a place of wild and untamed nature. And he is hidden from the watchful and murderous eye of his uncle, a being you know as Set. This Horus does not have a father king to guide him. His father is a memory, a ghost, a scattered and dismembered body that he himself must seek out and make whole again. His entire life is not a journey of succession, but a journey of initiation. He is not given his power. He must forge it in the fires of his own personal suffering. He is not trained in the arts of war and of statecraft. He is trained by his mother in the secret and forbidden arts of magic, of alchemy, of the journey through the underworld of his own psyche. He is not taught to fight his enemies. He is taught to understand them. He is not taught to dominate the darkness. He is taught to walk through it and to find the light that is hidden within it. This is the Horus of the mystery schools. This is the Horus of Thoth. This is the Horus who is not seeking to become the next in a long line of kings. He is seeking to become something new, something that has never existed before. A being who has faced his own inherited wound, his own dismemberment, and has, through a radical and courageous act of self-love, made himself whole. He is not the symbol of inherited power. He is the symbol of earned sovereignty. And it is this Horus, this self-made and alchemical god, that the solar cult of Ra saw as the ultimate and most unforgivable heresy. Because a god that can be made cannot be ruled. The great and epic battle between Horus and Set is the central drama of the Egyptian mysteries. But the version you have been told is a lie. It is the carefully edited and politically motivated propaganda of the Ra program. In the official, state-sponsored version, the one that serves the agenda of Ra-Horakhty, the battle is a simple and straightforward morality play. Set is the evil usurper. He is the murderer of his own brother, the good king Osiris. He is the god of chaos, of darkness, of the sterile desert, of storms, and of all things that are a threat to the stable, ordered, and patriarchal world of the solar king. He is, in essence, the devil. Horus is the noble hero, the rightful heir, who must fight a long and arduous battle to avenge his murdered father and to reclaim the throne that is his by divine right. It is a story of good versus evil, of light versus dark, of order versus chaos. It is a simple, effective, and morally unambiguous story. And it is a complete and total inversion of the esoteric truth. The truth, the one that has been preserved in the hidden whispers of the Thothian lineage, is that Set was not the enemy of Osiris. He was not even the true enemy of Horus. Set was the agent, the enforcer, the strong right arm of the real enemy, the wounded and paranoid solar king, Ra himself. The war was not over a stolen throne. It was over a heretical child. As we have explored, the birth of Horus, the son of Isis, was a direct and absolute threat to the new solar doctrine. He was a being of Syrian lineage, conceived in lunar magic, and his very existence was a proof that a soul could achieve divinity without the power and without the permission of the sun god. He was a glitch in the new matrix. And Set was the antivirus program sent by the central server, Ra, to find and to delete this dangerous and revolutionary piece of code. The murder of Osiris was not an act of fraternal jealousy. It was the first move in this cosmic chess game. It was an attempt to destroy the Syrian blueprint, the memory of the integrated masculine, before it could produce an heir. But they underestimated the power of the goddess. They underestimated the magic of Isis, and the child was born. The battle between Horus and Set, therefore, is not a battle between good and evil. It is a battle between two opposing and irreconcilable models of reality. It is the war between the solar cult of Ra, which demands external worship and inherited power, and the lunar stellar wisdom of Isis, which teaches the path of inner alchemy and earned sovereignty. And the most famous and most profoundly misunderstood event in this entire saga is the wounding of the Eye of Horus. In their final, epic confrontation, Set does not kill Horus. He attacks his left eye, the lunar eye, the eye of intuition, the Wadjet, and he gouges it out. This is not just a gruesome detail. It is a precise, symbolic, and technical description of the primary strategy of the Ra program. It knows that it cannot extinguish the divine spark within you, the spark of Horus, but it can blind you. It can shatter your inner vision, your gnosis, your ability to perceive the truth for yourself. It can attack your connection to the deep, intuitive, and feminine wisdom of your own inner Isis. It can leave you with only your right eye, the solar eye, the eye of logic, of the five senses, of the material world. And a being who is half blind, a being who has lost their connection to their own deep intuition, is a being who can be easily led, easily manipulated, and easily turned into a loyal and obedient servant of the Solar King. But the story does not end in blindness. Tehuti, the great scribe, the master of balance, the divine principle of gnosis itself, intervenes. He descends into the chaos of the battle and he heals the eye. He does not just repair it, he makes it more powerful than it was before. He makes it the Wadjet, the whole one. This is the crucial alchemical step. The wound, when consciously and magically healed, becomes a source of power. Horus is not just restored, he is transformed. He is no longer just the innocent prince, he is now the wounded healer. He is a being who has looked into the face of his own deepest trauma and has, with the help of divine wisdom, made himself whole again. He has not just fought his shadow, Set, he has integrated it. And in this new, whole, and fully sighted state, he is finally able to defeat his uncle, not by killing him, but by transcending the very dualistic game of conflict that his uncle represents. He does not annihilate the chaos, he brings it into order. He does not destroy the darkness, he makes it a servant of the light. This is the true and glorious victory of the authentic Horus. He has not just won a throne. He has achieved a state of consciousness. He has become the living embodiment of the healed, sovereign, and fully integrated soul. And it is this version of Horus, this self-made and alchemical god, that the Ra program had to either destroy or co-opt. They failed to destroy him. They could not ignore his power. So they did the only thing they could. They offered him a job. They offered him the kingship. They offered him the greatest and most tempting poison of all, the chance to become the very thing he had just defeated. The great, unspoken tragedy of the Horus myth is the chapter that is never written, the choice that is only ever hinted at in the most obscure and heretical texts. After his victory, after his healing, after his ascension to a state of full and glorious wholeness, Horus was faced with a cosmic and terrible choice. The old king, Ra, now seeing that this new, powerful, and wildly popular young god could not be defeated, made him an offer. He offered him the throne. He offered him the kingship of the sky. He offered to make him his official and celebrated heir. It was an act of pure, political genius. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat them, have them join you. Ra was offering to end the war, not by surrendering, but by absorbing his opposition. He was offering to take the most powerful symbol of rebellion and to place it at the very heart of the establishment. He was offering Horus the ultimate temptation, the chance to have it all. The power, the glory, the worship, the kingdom, and all he had to do was to accept one small condition. He had to agree to wear the solar disk. He had to agree to become Ra-Horakhty. He had to agree to take on the family business. This is the moment where the two divergent paths become one, razor-thin edge. This is the ultimate test of the newly forged sovereign soul. You have done the work. You have faced your shadow. You have healed your wound. You have become the king of your own inner world. And now, the external world, the very system that you have just transcended, comes to you and it offers you a crown. It offers you a seat at the table. It offers you the very power that you have just learned you do not need. And it is a seductive offer. It is the voice that says, "You have done the hard work. Now it is time to rest. It is time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You can have the inner peace and you can have the outer kingdom. You can have it all." This is the final and most subtle trap of the ego. It is the temptation to take your own, hard-won, and authentic inner gold and to trade it for the glittering but ultimately hollow, fool's gold of the external world. The profession that Ra offers is the profession of the warden. To become Ra-Horakhty is to become the new face of the old prison. It is to take on the terrible and soul-crushing job of managing a fallen and frightened world. It is to become the benevolent dictator, the one who must make the hard choices, who must maintain the order, who must, from time to time, unleash the lioness, Sekhmet, upon his own children to keep them in line. It is to inherit the wound of the king. It is to accept a power that is forever dependent on the weakness of others. It is to become a hollow son, forever needing to be fed by the faith and the fear of your own subjects. It is a profession that promises everything, but that will, in the end, cost you your own newly found and precious soul. The ideal that Horus, the son of Isis, represents is the ideal of the liberator. The kingship of his light is not a position of power over others. It is a state of being that inspires the power within others. His throne is not in a celestial palace. It is in the heart of every soul that chooses to undertake the same alchemical journey of its own becoming. His kingdom is not a place on a map. It is a resonant field of consciousness, a network of sovereign, awakened, and co-creating beings. To choose this path is to refuse the crown of the old world. It is to refuse the profession of the warden, and it is to accept a different and far more difficult profession. The profession of the teacher, the profession of the healer, the profession of the way-shower. It is the choice to be a lighthouse, not a king. It is the choice to hold your own steady and unwavering light, not to be worshipped, but to show others the way back to their own inner harbor. The myths are silent on which choice Horus ultimately made. And they are silent for a reason. Because the choice is not his. The choice is yours. The story is not over. You are its living and breathing climax. You are the one who is standing at this cosmic crossroads. You have done some of the work. You have tasted the power of your own inner alchemy. And now, the system is coming to you and it is making you an offer. It is offering you a promotion. It is offering you a success. It is offering you a place at the table. And it is asking you, in 1,000 subtle ways, to put on the solar disk. It is asking you to compromise your own radical and revolutionary truth for a more comfortable and a more acceptable version of power. It is asking you to take the wild and glorious magic of your own, authentic soul and to turn it into a respectable and profitable career. And the choice is yours. Will you be the heir to the profession, or will you be the embodiment of the ideal? The path of the modern initiate is a tightrope walk over an abyss of seduction. The Ra program in our time has become infinitely more sophisticated. It no longer needs to hunt down the heretics. It simply offers them a book deal. It no longer needs to burn the witches. It gives them a popular Instagram account. It has mastered the art of co-opting its own opposition. It has learned to take the most powerful and revolutionary truths of the spiritual path and to turn them into marketable products, into personal brands, into new and more beautiful cages for the soul. This is the final and most brilliant strategy of the wounded king. He has learned to sell you the very tools of your own liberation, but in a form that is subtly and cleverly disarmed, a form that will give you the feeling of rebellion without any of the actual world-changing power. Think of the spiritual marketplace. It is a vast and glittering showroom of the solar cult. It offers you Horus in 1,000 different packages. It offers you the warrior archetype, but it is a warrior who is fighting for a better position within the matrix, not for the liberation from it. It offers you the goddess archetype, but it is a goddess whose power is measured in her ability to manifest a more luxurious lifestyle. It offers you the shaman, but it is a shaman who is selling you a weekend workshop that promises to heal a lifetime of trauma in 48 hours. All of these are the heirs of Ra-Horakhty. They are the franchisees of the Solar Corporation. They have taken on the profession of spirituality, but they have forgotten the ideal. The ideal is not to become a more successful prisoner. The ideal is to become so free that the very concept of a prison ceases to exist in your reality. To walk the path of the true Horus in this modern world is to commit an act of profound and radical commercial suicide. It is the choice to refuse to turn your own sacred and hard-won gnosis into a product. It is the choice to be a lighthouse, which does not charge a fee for its light. It is the choice to be a teacher who understands that the true teaching is not in the words, not in the workshop, not in the book, but in the living, breathing, and unwavering embodiment of your own integrated state. It is the choice to be a king or a queen who has no subjects, who seeks no followers, and who understands that their only true kingdom is the silent and unshakable peace within their own heart. This is a path of profound and often terrifying obscurity. It is a path that the system will not reward, will not recognize, and will not even see. But it is the only path that is real. It is the only path that has a heart, and it is the only path that can truly change the world. So, you must ask yourself the question, why are you on this path? What is the inheritance that you are truly seeking? Are you seeking the power and the validation of the external world? Are you seeking to become a more successful and a more admired version of the mask you are already wearing? If so, the system will welcome you with open arms. It has 1,000 thrones waiting for its next loyal and ultimately disposable prince. But if you are seeking something else, if you are seeking the truth, if you are seeking the wholeness, if you are seeking the quiet, unshakable, and glorious sovereignty of your own authentic soul, then you must be prepared to walk a different path. You must be prepared to disappoint the king. You must be prepared to reject the crown. And you must be prepared to take on the most difficult and the most sacred profession of all, the profession of becoming simply and gloriously yourself. The ideal is not a destination, it is a direction. And it is a direction that leads away from every single thing that the world has ever told you that you should want. The final and most sobering truth is that the kingship of light is not a prize to be won. It is a burden to be carried. The true heir, the one who embodies the ideal of the healed Horus, does not ascend to a life of ease and of bliss. They ascend to a life of profound and unwavering service. But it is a new kind of service. It is not the self-sacrificing and codependent service of the wounded soul. It is the joyful, effortless, and radiant service of the star. A star does not struggle to shine. It does not burn itself out in a desperate attempt to save the darkness. It simply is. And in its being, in its holding of its own perfect and unwavering frequency, it naturally and effortlessly illuminates everything around it. This is the kingship of the new age. To become this living star, to inherit this ideal, is to become a force of cosmic and planetary healing. Your own integrated and coherent energy field becomes a medicine. It becomes a resonant frequency that helps to heal the wound in the great solar king himself. As we have explored, Ra is a wounded god, trapped in a cycle of his own paranoid fear. The only thing that can heal him is a new reflection. He needs his creation to show him a new possibility. He needs to see a child who has faced their own darkness and has emerged not as a monster and not as a victim, but as a whole and loving sovereign. A child who is not afraid of him. A child who does not need his approval. A child who can look upon his raging solar fire with the cool, clear, and compassionate eyes of the healed moon. And in that reflection, in that moment of seeing a new and more beautiful way of being, the old king can finally, after all these eons, begin to heal himself. This is the secret purpose of our entire human journey. We are not here to escape the prison. We are here to transform the warden. We are here to be the alchemical ingredient that will heal the very God who created our world. This is a task of such immense and breathtaking scope that it can only be undertaken by a soul who has completely and totally dedicated themselves to the ideal. It is a task for a king, not a king of men, but a king of light. A king who understands that their own personal healing is an act of planetary and cosmic service, and that their own sovereign joy is the greatest and most holy gift that they can give back to the source of all things. This is the profession that Horus, the son of Isis, chose. He did not take the throne of his father, Ra. He took on the burden and the glory of his own divine humanity. He chose to remain in the world as a teacher, as a healer, as a quiet and steady lighthouse, a beacon of a new and more integrated way of being. He maintained the kingship of light, not by ruling the sky, but by illuminating the hearts of those who are ready to remember. And he is asking you now to join him, to take up your own unique and sacred place in the new constellation, to stop being an heir to a dying profession, and to start being a living and breathing embodiment of a new and glorious ideal. The old king is dead. Long live the new king, and the new king is you. If this video resonated with you, let us know by commenting, "I understood it."